Hey guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elizabeth, and I have been diagnosed with bipolar 1, which is the worst one. I've been talking to a lot of people about bipolar, and they seem to think that it's a fad thing. You know, a lot of people have it, which a lot of people do, but people don't understand what goes into it. They don't understand how you feel, or what goes on in your mind, or how it affects you, or the way that you think, act, interact with people, anything. So I wanted to make a little video of my experiences and, I don't know, maybe shed some light on the disease in and of itself. I guess I can start from the very beginning. A very, very, very long time ago, about 7th grade, I started noticing that I would dip down into a very severe depression. I wouldn't talk to people. I was never very popular at school. And my emotions just went up and down. I would go through about 6 months of feeling like I couldn't interact with anyone, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart, I wasn't anything. And then I would go through another 6 months of feeling like I was the best person in the world, that I could do anything, that I wanted to try out for cheerleading, I wanted to be on beta club, I wanted to be in every single club in school, I wanted to be everyone's best friend, whatever. And then when I got to high school, it became more intense, more severe. I would have the same patterns. I'd go through about 6 months or so, give or take, of depression, and I would feel like I couldn't do anything. I was horrible. I was a horrible daughter. I was a horrible person. I wasn't responsible. I wasn't good enough. I couldn't get a job. I wasn't popular. I wasn't pretty. Nothing. And then I would go through the exact opposite. I would get the best grades. I would have the highest hopes for my future, and I would stay awake and attentive during class, and it was like that my entire life. I have had, during that time, when I would be depressed, I would contemplate suicide almost every single day. I would lay in bed awake, and I would look at my closet and look at scarves hanging up and think about how I could slowly strangle myself, pretty much. I didn't care about what my family would say. I would just think about how much better off they were without me. I would think about how no one at school would notice I was gone, how no one would care. And then the mania would hit, and I wouldn't be able to sleep because I would be awake and thinking about what I was going to do tomorrow, and what, I was going to say to so-and-so, and it was just a horrible, roundabout thing. I would cut to relieve the pain, and I know that a lot of kids did that as a fad, but, at least in my school, they did it because it was cool. It was something to do. I never told anyone about it. I didn't go around bragging. It was just something that relieved the pressure of my thoughts. I'd have a voice in the back of my head during school saying, "You're not good enough, you're not good enough, don't do that. You'll look stupid, don't say that, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid." That's all I would hear. And so I would cut to relieve the pain. I would just beat myself up. I would berate myself every single day. I even attempted suicide once. I OD'd on pills and ended up vomiting for 9 hours the next day. And that's when I realized that it was pretty bad, but I still didn't get help. I went off to college, and at the time I had a pretty good boyfriend, and I would get really, really weird about him. He was my longtime boyfriend, and I would get very, very suspicious of anything, and I would be extremely depressed and extremely angry. I would snap at nothing. He would just say one thing wrong, and I would just go off the deep end and start sobbing and start screaming, and then the next day I would be happy and elated, and it was awful to put him through that. And yeah, we ended up breaking up, but I mean, that's not the point. It was just what I put him through. And That was my freshman year of college, and after an entire year of doing that, and him, after me screaming at him and berating him, he told me that the next day, he said, "You need help," and I agreed. And I went to the counseling center, and I was diagnosed with bipolar. And they told me that I need to come in and keep on with therapy, and if I was interested in medication, I could pursue that route. And I remember that day I went outside and I just sat down on the grass, and I just sat for hours because I couldn't believe that my entire being, my entire life had come down to one diagnosis. I recognized that as what I was and who I was and what I would become. And I know it seems silly because a lot of people think of bipolar as something flippant, something that doesn't control your life, something that's nothing, you know. And I just sat there and cried and thought about, you know, how all of my thoughts and all of my patterns and myself had, again, been boiled down to this one point. So to avoid being redundant, I went on with my therapy, and I got on medication, which helped a little bit, but it furthered my thoughts of, you know, this is what my life has come down to. I rely on medication to be normal. I rely on medication to have normal interactions with people. I can't be a self-sufficient person without relying on this medication. And that was a really shitty thought. So I would go through bouts where I would be on the medication and then I would stop taking it because I felt better. You know, I felt stable for 2 months, and then I'd say I don't need it, and I'd, you know, just stop taking it, and then I would dip into depression, and then it was just this horrible cycle. And I watched a video today where it described having bipolar, and it was a woman who said that she views bipolar as being out in a small boat on the ocean by yourself, and in one hand you're holding a kite, and then in the other one you're holding an anchor, and you have to keep yourself balanced from being pulled away by the kite and then being dragged down to the bottom of the ocean by the anchor. And I can completely relate, because that's how my life has been for as long as I can remember, just feeling like I'm being dragged down, and, you know, I'm useless and I'm nothing, and then feeling like I'm on top of the world. Now, I know that that's not really a big deal, but it does impact everyday life, because some days I feel like it's a huge struggle to even get out of the bed in the morning. I'll wake up and look at the clock and realize I have 20 minutes until class, and I think to myself, why am I going to class? It doesn't matter. You know, I'll probably never get anywhere with my life. Why even get up? And other days I don't have a problem, but it's a daily struggle for me. I'm still on medication, and I still do go to therapy, but it is a daily struggle, and it's always in the back of my head, all my problems, all of my issues, and I'm wondering if I'll ever be able to just finally come to the surface and be level, you know. And now I'm not gonna, you know, hit a peak of mania and go streaking. I'm not going to, you know, bottom out in depression and try and jump off a building or anything, but it's sometimes a struggle just to hang out with my friends. It's sometimes a struggle to not go out and spend all of my money, which I have before. It's a lot of different things, and you never have a free moment in your head. You never have a pause in your thoughts. It's constant thoughts, just racing thoughts all the time, and it's kept me awake many nights. And you feel restless, you feel just agitated because your thoughts will not stop, and that's how it is every waking moment, because you're just thinking. And sometimes it's really happy thoughts and really just great, and then other times it's very morose, it's very very down, but it's constant racing. And the medication does control that, but it sedates you to the point of just absolute laziness, but it's not your fault. But without the medication, you go off the deep end and you snap at people, and you go crazy, and so the medication is a necessary evil. But I mean, that's pretty much been my life. I'm with a wonderful man who, you know, does understand, and he puts up with me, although sometimes he gets very easily annoyed when I go off the deep end and get suspicious and crazy and depressed, and it takes a lot to have patience with someone with bipolar, and I completely understand. But I'm kind of digressing, but hopefully I've shed some light on how serious of a condition this is, and that it's not just some passing fad for some people, and it's a daily struggle every single day to just get out of bed and to live life and to interact normally. And it's just life. So if you guys have any questions, then message me, and I'll feel free to answer anything or make an answer video or anything else like that. So hopefully I haven't just made a day out of myself, and hopefully I shed some light on what's going on with some people. So thanks guys for watching. Bye!